Troll.
Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. It is that time of the night where we have to talk about what happened in that case. Yes, it is that time. We have to talk about it, and I hope that we will deliver as usual.
Hi, Brigadier Gininda today. Hi, Begawabiza Magama. Hey, the names were being dropped. Then them names were being called. The names we have never had before. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes right now. Names were being dropped. Names that we've never had before. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us as we deliberate more on what is happening over there at the Senzo Meyiwa trial. And if you couldn't catch up with the whole 5 hours, well, we are here just to give you a bit of a summary. Although today it's quite a long, there are many things to discuss, but we're going to try and get across them as quickly as we possibly can. So it was Brigadier Gininda's time to be on the witness box for the main trial. Remember the last time he was on the witness box, it was because of the trial within a trial, and he had to narrate the steps he took and everything to get the confessions out of accused number 1 and accused number 2. Well, today, or rather, is it yesterday, he was now on the stand to try and elaborate and give testimony of how he came to the conclusion that the 5 accused were the ones that were responsible for ending Senzo's life. He had to explain it today, give that clarity as to how we got here. Was it clear? Let's unpack it.
Yeah, just stay with us and make sure that you like the video and share the video. Comment, do whatever that you need to do. That is right. That is within the guidelines of this channel and
press
YouTube.
The like button.
Press that like button and be a member, renew a membership. And we expect that as Mzansi person, you keep up with the video as much as you can. Yeah. Anytime is tea time to you. We don't choose when, but as long as you enjoy this content, stay with us. And yeah, that's it.
Well, the accused were brought in late in court this morning. Apparently, there was a time where Sibanda informed the court that the accused were still en route and that they should be there soon. And as they arrived, Baloyi apologized for the late start. That is Advocate Judge Baloyi, who is for the state. He said that accused number 3 and 5 had to commission certain affidavits for the purpose of the application that they are bringing relating to that incarceration or their incarceration, the solitary confinement. So the state called the next witness Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda, and the state was likely to wrap up the case with Brigadier Gininda. Remember, he is the last witness for the state according to the knowledge that we have, but anything can change. But for as far as we know, he's the last witness for the state's case.
I don't think so, but yeah.
You think it might change? They may another one might pop up after he's done testifying, just for clarity purposes.
Well, let's not speak before everything happens. You know, you can't.
Abizilwe amagama. Aya magama abizilwe namhlanje. There were a lot of names that were being called, which is why we are putting it hanging up in the air, because it's too soon to conclude.
Abiziwe.
Yeah, abiziwe amagama. So he started with his testimony today, and according to some of the people, or rather the reporters that were sitting in court, he had stacks of files as he was readying himself to testify. So he came ready and prepared Mtakabao. So Gininda confirmed that he is employed in the SAPS and that he's attached to the cold case unit. Baloyi asked him, you already testified in the trial within a trial in this matter, and Gininda said that's true. And Baloyi said that was the 27th of November 2023. He said that's correct. So the the docket that was allocated to his team, he asked to confirm the number of members in his unit, and Gininda said that there were 3 of them. He said it's himself, Sergeant Mohola, and Sergeant Mohane currently. So Baloyi asked when the docket was allocated to his team, and Baloyi said that you mentioned the date when this matter was allocated to you. Brigadier Gininda said it was allocated to him on the 12th of November in 2018. So, asked about the other dockets, Gininda said that yes, it was case 3751 of 2019. He said that it's not a murder docket but a defeating docket. Defeating the ends of justice, I think is what he was trying to say, but he called it a defeating docket that was opened by Warrant Officer MAKHUBO as the complainant. The only murder docket of the deceased Senzo Meyiwa in this matter before the court. He said that there's no other docket that is registered out there. So he's saying that the only murder docket is that of 636 and 375 has no charge of murder. What it has is defeating the ends of justice. And then it posed the question as to why are people calling for 375? Why are people saying that 375 is the one that should be brought? I even saw some people starting the conversation to even ask who suggested that 375 be brought to court. They don't understand the mess that is going on. And I'm quite disappointed because these people that were commenting like this, some of them are journalists that are reporting on this very same case. I don't think that's a fair question to ask. If you've been sitting in that court case for this long as we have, I don't think it's a fair question to ask. And here's my reason why. It's because you've already seen that some of the most controversial statements, or the statements that align more or less with the theory that has been out there, is coming from 375 and not coming from 636. Already that should let you know that 636 in itself is shorter. And because it is shorter, that's the reason why 375 was kind of brought into this trial that we are currently dealing with. And remember that the defense, at the time it was still Judge Shipua Maumela, requested to see it. Even Advocate Mshololo was saying that she had not seen it before and she wanted to go through it. Remember, we had to take 2 months for her to go through it so that she, and guess what, when she came back, most of the statements that they were using, especially Advocate Mshololo is using to try and represent her client, are coming from 375.
Yes. They
have a lot of merit. Even Mr. Hlope's statement, the one that Brigadier Gininda today was saying that it was hearsay, it came from 375. The one of the
Is that
neighbor,
the one that they said it disappeared?
The one they said that it disappeared and was taken out of 636. It was in 375. And the statement, the one that was narrating how from a neighbor that actually tells us about the mopping of the floor, the cleaning up, the alleged cleaning up of the crime scene, it also comes from 375. The one that is from the neighbor who was speaking about how Kelly's mom was, all over the place shouting and saying that he's seen that person, he sees them around, they have dreadlocks, making all sorts of allegations and saying that that is the person that entered the house. It came from 375. So for now, at the stage that we're in, wanting to question why is kind of weird. But Asikwalapo, let's move on. Baloyi then asked him, you have already mentioned the name of an investigator who's associated with this other investigation, Fosloras 375. 1 of 2019. Is that the only investigators associated with the investigation? And Gininda said no, there's also Lieutenant Colonel BUTHELEZI who's associated with Docket 375. And Balwe asked Gininda on his own words to give a background of what happened after he was seized with the matter, and also to deal with how the other investigation of case 375 came into existence. Well, Gininda said that when he was appointed for the docket on the 12th of November 2018, Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and Lieutenant Colonel BUTHELEZI were part of the investigation team. Listen to this. When he was appointed, they were part of the investigation team. Hold on to that. And he said, Gininda, he said he was appointed to lead the team. And they, Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and Colonel BUTHELEZI, were seconded to work under him, together with Lieutenant Colonel Ramohala, who was part of the cold case unit, who has since retired. So the cold case unit said it included himself, Lieutenant Ramohala, and the female Sergeant Mogola. Don't ask me why he kept referring to Sergeant Mogola as female Sergeant Mogola. I don't know. And Sergeant Mohani. So they were basically in charge of leading this current matter, which is 636. That's what he testified in court. So basically saying that he was in charge, or his team was in charge, not the team of Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and BUTHELEZI. That was very interesting. And he was saying also that in terms of the appointment of the four of them, Lieutenant Ramohala, BUTHELEZI, and Warrant Officer MAKHUBO were designated to look into this matter, and him being the lead investigator of this matter, he said that there was a theory when they were briefed in terms of receiving the docket that seems to be a suspicion that the shooter was inside the house, and it did not make sense as to why the previous investigating team could not address that matter or deal with the people who were inside the house. Mshololo objected, asking that, this theory, it needs to be unpacked. It needs to be unpacked in order for them to understand whether this theory was part of the investigation that led to the hearsay, or if it's the evidence that they heard. Balwe said that he was baffled by that objection. He said it's already on record that there are two theories, and the witness is rehashing the mandate that was given to them. He said the objection is premature, and the witness will deal with all these aspects. The judge asked Mshololo why she said it's hearsay evidence. Mshololo then explained that it's because she did not understand the theory. What is the theory? What theory is this? That's why she was asking if it can be unpacked, if it is what they heard, or if it was part of the evidence that they had as the investigating team, so that they can understand whether it amounts to hearsay or that type of evidence. Well, the judge said, but he said that it is a report that was made to him, and assuming command of the investigation, that there are allegations. He said he did not want to call it a theory. The judge said he doesn't want to call it a theory. He would rather call it something else. And he said that that person who murdered the deceased was inside the house. So Gininda confirmed what the judge was saying. And Mshololo said that it's a report that was made to him. When it has to be disclosed, it's a report by who? So if it's a report, the question is...
Thank you, Tidi, and I'm happy.
Thank you, Tidi.
And Emily is moving.
Okay, let me put my headsets back on.
I had a few questions just from the beginning when I heard that this Gininda was the leading investigator, as he alleges. So as a leading investigator, what did he do when the two people that are supposed to report to him, according to him, which is Warrant Officer MAKHUBO
and Colonel BUTHELEZI.
What did he do when they opened the docket that said defeating the ends of justice as it describes it. If they were reporting to him, why did he not know about that docket, as he's claiming that now he knows about it now, just recently when everyone was introduced to this docket 375? And in answering to that, if he says, no, it's because maybe they were hiding something, because maybe for whatever reason, that is still going to be ventilated. What actions did he take as a commanding officer of these people? What actions did you take when you hear that the people you are supposed to be in charge of, they went against your will and still open a second docket? What actions did you take as a leading command, as you said? I mean, there's always actions, there's always consequences when it comes to SAPS. There you must be in line. Here's the leading person. He has given you what needs to happen. We are investigating 636. These ones, they deviate as they are portrayed, in my opinion, as people who were not obeying. And the funny part is that later on he even says, is it Peruma, that was requested, Peruma.
Yes, Peruma Sal or something like
Peruma,
that.
yes, that was requested to come and assess the situation. It surprises me that there's someone that was requested to come and assess the situation. You are in charge. You have given a line. You have given them a command. Which we are investigating an intruder. These ones, they go on and open a different docket that talks about defeating the ends of justice and whatever that is inside that docket. Why did you wait?
All the statements that were in danger, allegedly.
Why did you wait to take that action? What did you do to discipline them?
That would be interesting to find out what were the means and steps that he took.
Now we need people from outside to come in and mitigate those cops that were called from.
Actually, he was the leader. He was the
as a leader.
investigator.
What did you do?
What did he do? Because right now he's portraying Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and Colonel Buthelezi as insubordinate, as people that did not follow the rules or did not want to follow his lead. So as a leader in the SAPS, there's something that is required of him. And what did he do to make those steps, or to follow the process of disciplining them if there's any disciplining that they needed?
Even taking them out of the case.
What was that process like? It's
not unless you were self-appointed. Not unless they did not disrespect you, maybe. Maybe you all were equals. You know? And then you decided to take a lead. There's always that person. You are given a group work and then that person takes the lead.
They want to be in charge.
They want to be in charge. All of a sudden, they're shouting at you for being 2 minutes late. I'm just trying to understand, because to me, more than anything, it sounded like you are throwing these people under the bus. It does sound like this to me. These are people that you were supposed to work with.
Saying that this part of evidence was to discredit Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and Buthelezi.
Not only them as people, 375 as a whole.
And it's very interesting that the priority for his evidence as to why the accused are standing before that court, he chooses to prioritize 375 above explaining how he came to the conclusion that he came to. It was very interesting for me, the order of things. I was expecting him to end with 375, but he just chose to go to the jugular, to go at it at the very beginning. I found that very weird. I found it very, very perplexing. I'm like, so this is the priority for you. And allegations are that he's one of the people that are accused in 375. Those are the allegations. We don't have the facts.
And I'm worried because that now says that we are on an auto cruise then. As our SAPS are on an auto cruise. Not only these people are refusing to Gininda as a person who's told to lead them, or are not obeying Gininda's command, in a sense. They are insubordinate. One could say that. They also undermine the so-called people who came from outside.
The Eastern Cape.
Yet, we are sitting in that court. There is no report that says that Warrant Officer MAKHUBO, Joyce BUTHELEZI, ignored the leaders. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. No. Nothing like that. We are supposed to believe what Gininda is saying. That's it.
Yes, take his word for
Take his word. Even that Peruma guy, if it's I don't know, it's a guy or...
I should have written his name down.
Yeah, you probably did, but it's later. So, and who else is Rhodes? Peruma and Rhodes?
I think it's Lutz.
Lutz, yeah, something like that. They also didn't write any report to say, these people, we were asked to come and assess the situation, and these ones are rebellious. They don't want to obey. No, nothing of that note.
Nope.
Hence, these people are still within SAPS.
Yes.
They are working. So, which one are we supposed to believe? As a judge sitting down there, you are supposed to believe that these people actually they didn't obey what was commanded, and there is no proof of punishment, nothing of that note, of that sort.
Disciplinary process.
So it's fine. Continue, Emil. But I'm trying to understand. I mean, this type of practice, we have been seeing it with the testimonies, the so-called confessions. Now it is now attacking even Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and Joyce BUTHELEZI. And let me tell you what worries me the most.
What?
Is that the witnesses that came to testify that were called by the states, in particular Ntogo and Tumelo, who at some point allegedly was protected, was sitting in was sitting in
witness protection.
Witness protection. They came afterwards, after taking themselves out of that place. They were rubbishing, more so Joyce BUTHELEZI,
the one who put him in
and then
witness
now
protection.
We have the investigator, the colleague, in my opinion, rubbishing Joyce BUTHELEZI. Yet Joyce BUTHELEZI is still a police, and Warrant Officer MAKHUBO is still a police. What are we supposed to say?
We'll just have to wait until we hear Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and Colonel BUTHELEZI's side of the story.
It's a mess. It's a shame. In fact, it does not give me peace to see such behavior within the colleagues that are supposed to be protecting this country. Now, we are supposed to pick sides as public.
Yes.
And the family of Senzo is also supposed to pick side now. Who to believe, who not to believe. You know? It's the worst thing that could happen to you. And And now we are in a situation where the other one is glorified, the other one is looked at as a waste. I mean, it can be, but it's okay. Continue, I mean.
Well, Mgomezulu stood in support of Advocate Mshololo's objection, and he said that somebody must have made such a report. He wanted to know who that person is, and for one to make a conclusion to that this theory exists. They wanted to know who that person who brought that theory.
Rightly so, because you keep on insisting that there was already a theory that was being peddled. And then
where did it come from?
You are not specifying the source that would inform the police to actually investigate. I'm saying this because you cannot claim that the public, there was that type of theory read out by the public and the public was pushing for that. No, you investigate on the basis of intelligence, SAPS intelligence. You don't just investigate just because we think you should investigate.
So Advocate Baloyi said that they needed to look further than that preposition that was brought by Mr. Mgomezulu himself. So he was trying to put the explanation
of
as to the preposition
to Mgomezulu's proposition, which is something that just happened currently, and this investigation happened long time ago.
He's not even listening to the witness. The witness talking about something that happened back in 2018, 2019. He is putting the blame on Mgomezulu. And he said that Longwe is the one who shot the deceased. This is what the witness is saying. And now there is an objection. It's almost as if like he has a problem with objections being put forth while he's doing evidence in chief. So Mgomezulu responded to him by saying that this examination in chief, or it's an examination in chief, and this is new evidence that is brought by Brigadier Gininda in the main trial. Baloyi kind of laughed a bit and said, "My lord, we have a lot of ground to cover. We are not going to detain with the trivialities." This is where Advocate Mnisi now stood up and said, "This is not a triviality. The state used an inaccurate term because we are also concerned about the source of this report to the effect that the shooter was one of the people in the house. Who is the source of information?" And Baloyi said that we will deal with that in due course. There was a briefing when this matter was assigned, and Gininda said that's correct. He completely moved on. He moved on. He didn't want to address it anymore. So Baloyi said to Gininda, or asked him, who assigned the matter to you? And Gininda said that he received an instructions from the then National Commissioner General Ketla Stole. And Baloyi asked Gininda how Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and Colonel Buthelezi came into the picture. Gininda said that he was briefed and given the mandate to take command of this investigation, and he was informed that they will form part of this team, and they were seconded as to how he said he didn't know. So he was saying that they were second in command to him. As to how that happened, he does not know. He's trying to also create the impression that maybe they were self-appointed. Doesn't know who appointed them. And he said that they worked together for some time, and due to differences of opinion, they went different directions. He said that Warrant Officer MAKHUBO was from the DPIC, in Germiston, and Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi was from Psychology Unit in Pretoria. So already we can see that Buthelezi and Gininda are kind of in the same city.
Check how this team that, in my opinion, is excluded, which is Buthelezi and Gininda. I mean Buthelezi and MAKHUBO. They are not coming from this
Cold case.
tax war, what?
Or taxi in the taxi violence.
Taxi violence
unit or something
almost
like that.
The whole of these people that have been testifying, they are coming from taxi violence.
If they're not coming from there, they've worked there in the past. So Baloyi then asked him what happened after the matter was assigned to the team you led. Gininda said the first directive that he gave was copies of the docket.
Emily,
and he...
I'm sorry, could you pause? Can we fix the issue of likes, guys? I don't want to mention it because people say you mention it a lot. There's someone who said that, not people, actually. Someone said that.
No, we have to mention it
and
remind you because we forget we are people. Overhead Mzansi reality, that's how we live. We live through via your likes and your engagement. We appreciate it so much.
And your views.
That's what helps us with the channel. Maybe you don't understand. Why do I need to like? You are liking so that the video gets recommended to others. That's why you are liking. As you have seen on Mzansi Reality, we slightly cover the Senzo Meyiwa trial. And we don't have...
Black boy, we have... I think you are trying to correct here. DPC, yes. We take note of that.
Yes, DPCI. My apologies.
DPCI.
So yes, and the reason why we encourage you to like is because it's literally the only way that we get to maybe grow the family, find the people that are interested, share the video if you can, but liking, that's all we are asking for now, because it helps with the people that may have been subscribed or maybe have not turned their notifications on. Even the new people that are interested in the case and are interested in maybe a fresh perspective or whatever, they are able to find the video. That's the reason why you press the like button. But if it's too much for you, I don't know. It's really simple. It's not complicated at all. Just hit the like button. And especially if you like the content.
Yeah.
You're not forced to do it.
No, you're not forced.
It
We're
will
just
help us
reminding
a
the
lot.
people that are interested in this channel.
Yes, it helps us a lot. It keeps the channel going. So yes, Gininda said that the first directive that he was given or that he gave to his team was that he needed to make copies of the docket. And he needed to make sure that for each member, they have a copy of this docket and they can read it and analyze it based on the evidence collected to see if they were perpetrators or intruders and who were there. And if there were no intruders, I have a problem with this. My problem with this, I find it funny how Mukhola and Mokhani in their testimonies during the trial, within a trial, even with the main trial, they've testified before. They said they didn't know the docket. You know, everything when they were being asked about the docket, they referred to Brigadier Gininda. They did not admit. I remember there was even a question to say that when you are assigned a case, you are given a docket. Mukhola denied, if I can recall correctly. Guys, correct me if I'm recalling correct. But I remember the strong denial about them having studied the docket. Do you guys remember that? That's why I find it very funny. And on top of it, I'm like, so this is how Brigadier Gininda handles his cases. He receives the docket. He sends team members to go and study and analyze the docket. And then come back and they discuss about whether they were intruders or not. What is the investigation element of that? I'm not a police officer, but this sounds like a project at a high school or something like that. Even high school, there's a little bit more effort than this. Am I wrong?
No, you're
Am I
right.
being too hard on our South African police? How do you go and you study the docket and then you say, come back with what you think, were they intruders or not? Is this a case study? What is going on? I was very, very disappointed by this. I was like, I'm expecting you guys to start from the bottom. Go ask the witnesses if what they are willing to share is still the same thing that is written on their statement. Go find more witnesses if you can. Investigate. Where is the investigation element of this situation? That's for me.
It's a nice type of investigation that you would actually see from one of the South African police. They sit down and read the whole docket, and you're like, oh, so these ones are at hospital. Oh, they are at hospital. And then the phone is pinging around the hostel. No, it's not like Longwe took the other routine to go to the car, not Longwe. The car that was being read on the record there took the routine to pass through the hostel while others went with the other routine. It's not like that. It's fine.
That's right.
No, it's not. It's fine. We'll reach that point. Let's continue.
Well, he said that after this case study exercise they had going on, they got together. And he said that when they got together, it was clear and a belief that there were no intruders. He said based on what he analyzed, he believed that there were intruders. And I'm like, okay. So each and every one came back with their opinion according to you. But he's not mentioning what Mohola said, what Mohani said, what Warrant Officer MAKHUBO said, what Colonel Buthelezi said, or whoever was on the team said. He's not mentioning specifically what all of them were. Maybe we can work with a majority vote or something. How many believe there were intruders? How many believe there were no intruders? No, he does not give us that analysis.
How could they have done that? Because these people were not even, according to them. They were waiting for instruction from Gininda all the time. You know, this guy goes on to say, he goes on to say the other cases happened because they were pending, whatever that is saying. And then he said they used those cases to keep them on the side.
Guys, this is our South African police. This is how they work. Balwe then asked him who believed there were no intruders. And Gininda said MAKHUBO and Buthelezi were of that view. I also once believed so. But when I looked at the docket, I believed otherwise. Balwe asked him, what was your initial view that there were no intruders? Based on what? And Gininda said it was not based on anything. It was before he could really look at the docket, except when he was hearing when one looked at the docket. And he said that he will deal with what convinced him. Looking at certain facts contained in the docket, it made him to conclude that there were no other way, but there were intruders. Gininda said that they got together and looked at these different views. He said he had the view together with Colonel Ramohula that the evidence showed that there were intruders. And it is based on that. And then they went apart. He said that they went different directions, and that gave rise to the opening of the docket 375 that he was not aware of. Gininda said that they got together. It
gave rise to opening of 375 that he was not aware of.
Yes. And then he said that they got together and different views got out, and the two members believed that there were no intruders. I think he meant to say that there were no intruders, but he said there were intruders. I think he meant to say there were no intruders. And he and Colonel Ramohala, that the evidence suggested that there were intruders. And he said that it was based on that they went apart. There was no formal arrangement for the other two members to stop working with them, but they had just went different directions. And that gave rise to Docket 375 that he was not aware of. Gininda said that he learned at a later stage that the docket was in existence, suggesting that certain people in the house were involved. But I asked him if he was aware who opened this other docket, and Gininda said according to the system, it was Warrant Officer MAKHUBO. The reason why he did not have much information is that he never had sight of this docket. He only had sight of it briefly in the DPP's office in Pretoria on the 29th of January 2020. Not the contents, but the file. Gininda said that he only had sight of the contents of the docket after October 2022. While the trial was ongoing, remember at the time, I think it was pre-de novo. It was when Judge Shipiwa Maumela was still presiding, and Advocate Tifo was going through what he was going through with the media and everything in the court. That's when he says he got to see the details or the inside of 375. And he said that when it was ordered by the court that it must be disclosed by the defense. I remember there was a time that Jashipiwa Maumela ultimately came to the decision that 375 should be seen by the defense and by everyone who doesn't know the contents of it.
Hey, Vusutando, thank you very much for your donation. Thank you. We appreciate you. May God bless you.
And then he said that the docket was made available to the state advocate, and then they had to make copies. He said that the first time he had sight of it was when he was making copies. So Baloy then asked him, you mentioned that you first saw the docket at the office of the DPP in January of 2020, and Gininda said subsequent to the differences between him and the rest of his team investigators, the National Commissioner appointed Brigadier Peruma.
Yes, Peruma.
Peruma.
Yes.
This name for me is quite unusual.
Yes.
Peruma, it comes and it goes.
Yes.
I have to get used to it. Then to come and lead. It was for him to make an analysis on what is contained in the docket and to lead the team between the SAPS and the NPA. It was not a suitable environment between the parties that were involved. It was overflown to the NPA in terms of who must brief the NPA with these different views that were taken to them. So Brigadier Perumal was leading the commercial unit in the Eastern Cape, and he was assisted by Colonel Loads, who was from the PDCI Anti-Corruption Unit, who is a brigadier now in the Western Cape for the Anti-Corruption Unit. So Gininda said that he was asked to avail the docket, and he said that he was asked to make copies of the docket so that they could analyze it. They needed to brief NAFCOM, and they tried to find the other docket because when they came on board, it was after the 375 docket was opened, but they did not succeed. Brigadier Perumal and Brigadier Lutz. So Baloy asked what was the reason for not succeeding. Gininda said that he was told that they received the resistance when Brigadier Perumal tried to phone the two members with the intention of getting this docket.
This is not Perumal saying it. It's Gininda saying it.
Gininda saying it.
So it's hearsay.
So it's hearsay.
There is no proof of that.
We shall.
Note. Nothing. And these people are reporting to at the time, Story, who was
National Commissioner.
No action taken against these rebels. I'm not saying
he's portraying them.
That's what's being portrayed, in my opinion. You know, nothing is said about them. It's okay. Life continues as usual. Oh well, they're just gonna open their own mkuku there. I guess there are no KPIs there. What are you working on? Where is the progress of what you are working on? You can literally work on a case that you've been, in a sense, taken out of, and continue to even create a new docket for it that is running concurrently with the current docket now that they were working on. I'm not saying they were wrong in doing that. I mostly believe in 375 more than I believe in 636. I guess I'm not an analyst like our IO. But it has more it has density. It has something at 375. It's more believable. Something that shows a bit of investigation.
It has investigation.
It does
has speaking to witnesses. What has Brigadier Gininda done with his team ever since the docket landed? What investigations has he done? That's my personal struggle. It seems like he took everyone's work and flew with it, in my opinion. And on top of that, he picked and chose whatever suited what he believed. As you can tell, from the moment he stepped onto this case, he believed that there were intruders, and he didn't want to believe anything else, in my opinion. He was unshaken. He just believed that there were intruders, and he ran with that. What informed him that there were no intruders? He explained it later on. We're gonna get into it, but it still didn't leave me with the satisfaction that investigations were done. You understand what I'm saying? So Gininda said that after analyzing the docket, there was a meeting with the National Commissioner where they briefed him. At that stage, they were not inside of any of these accused. It was still about whether they were intruders or not, and there was no clue of the perpetrators at that stage. Gininda said that the conclusion from Brigadier Perumal and Brigadier Loads was that they were intruders, although it was not known who they were. So here are these men coming from the Eastern Cape, another one from the Western Cape.
Video is being chopped. Yeah, guys, I can see from this side.
Every time we testify about, or when we cover Brigadier Gininda.
Yeah. So we're just gonna pause for now. We're not gonna pause the video. We're just gonna pause, continuing with this, see what is going on, and then continue, because unless you guys can hear us, because
if the audio is not interrupted, then it's fine. We're putting a picture and we will continue.
We are back to square one.
Is the audio also cutting?
We are back to square one.
Or is it just the video? Mr. Anonymous, I'd recommend you put the picture as soon as maybe it resolves or something happens. Then we can, people can see my face again. Because unfortunately, I just feel like every time we cover this bit, stuff starts happening. I don't understand.
I don't want to go there, but let's just.
Everything has been fine.
All along things were working. Everything was working. Oh, yeah. And guys, the internet is galore. I can test right now. Perhaps we can let the call, one call or two calls come in.
Let's take a break. You guys can call in. ETO snap.
Guys, it's even worse. Wow. Yo! Hi. No. American speed test. Oh.
Father God, I pray.
Guys, speed test is good. It's like 400 up, 400 down.
400 what? The speed thing.
Hey, 400 up, 400 down.
So what is happening?
I don't know. I really don't know. I cannot tell you. I wish I could tell you, but I can't.
God. Father God, intervene. Intervene. Help us, Lord. The show must go on, Lord.
Okay. Let me test something. Here we go. Now, guys, I have to work double. I hate this. I hate this. What did we do? Internet is fine. Like, internet is good. It's a whole page. All of a sudden, it's acting up.
It hasn't been giving us any trouble.
No.
The last time it did was maybe about a month ago or so. Right. But now, it's been smooth. And then on this particular day, it just decides, you know what, I'm gonna do the opposite of what guys, I'm sorry, I give up. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what is going on.
Guys, can you hear us?
If you can hear us, guys, I think we should continue with the voice thing. We've done it before.
All right, they can hear us. Guys, you can hear us. We are getting hacked. We could be. You probably are right. Let's continue. Let's continue, Emil.
Well, then Brigadier Gininda said that the conclusion that he got was that there were intruders, although it was not known who they were, but the evidence suggested there were perpetrators that were inside the house. So Mgombezulu objected and said that he was not sure if such a report had been handed over to the defense. It was brought up earlier by Advocate Mshololo. It's been brought up again. But they rephrased and said that they shared their view with you. Then what happened further? Removing that statement of there was a report. I'm gonna guess here, take a wild guess that report is not in sight. It doesn't exist, perhaps, allegedly. So Gininda said that he was then asked by them that he should introduce them to the prosecutor from the NPA. This is Brigadier Lutz and what's his name again? Peruma.
Yes. Perusa. That's a unique.
Peru.
You're gonna make me laugh while I'm busy panicking.
I cannot recall this man's name. It's difficult for me. It's quite new. I've never heard it before, so it's kind of difficult to imprint it in my head. Peruma.
Yes,
Peruma and Lutz. So he said that because it was already assigned to the North Gauteng DPP, that led him to make arrangements with the DPP. So already it was assigned to the North Gauteng DPP. North Gauteng DPP is where Advocate Baloyi is based. This Pretoria, the High Courts. So he said that led him to make arrangements with the DPP, and subsequently that meeting of the 29th of January 2020 then took place where Brigadier Peruma was there for the first time to meet the DPP and indicate that he will be leading from the SAPS side on the directive of the NPA. So on the 29th of January 2020, they met with the team that was assigned from the NPA to deal with this matter, and the names he could recall was Advocate Leonard, Advocate Mahwata, and Advocate Baloyi. That is before court. So Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and BUTHELEZI also arrived. By the way, I also wonder where Advocate Leonard and Advocate Mahwata are right now. Where are they? Why is it only Advocate Baloyi and Sibanda now? Like
the chosen one.
Advocate Leonard and Advocate Mahwata. Bapi. So Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and BUTHELEZI also arrived. That is the day in possession of the Docket 375. He said that when they arrived on that meeting, they were in possession of Docket 375. That Brigadier Gininda said that he saw from a distance. He saw the docket from a distance. It was for the first time that Brigadier Peruma came face to face with them. These two musketeers, apparently. After facing the challenge of getting copies of the docket.
Just saying in advance, you forgive us, Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and BUTHELEZI. We're going to call you a lot of names that might not, but we are just.
We are being engulfed in the side of the story of Brigadier Gininda, and we are telling the story in his eyes,
and we are portraying it,
yes,
in a manner which he could maybe.
If he could.
Furthermore.
But then it's what it sounds like. It does not mean that we are throwing insults or offenses at you.
I personally believe in 375 more than 636.
We are telling, you know how I do Mzansi Reality Fam. I tell the story from the side of the storyteller. So sometimes I'm engulfed in their side of the story that it may seem like I'm disrespecting whoever is being talked about. But it's just to create that fairness to say, okay, we've been waiting for Brigadier Gininda's side of the story. Let us tell it how it needs to be told. So the meeting didn't end well, according to Brigadier Gininda, because the Brigadier was taking exception about protocol. This is Brigadier Peruma.
Protocol was not being followed, allegedly.
It was not being observed.
Well, it was not being observed. Please, give us a proof that protocol was not being followed. There's nothing. It's your word. So they were angry that these people are coming with a humongous document that they've been working on, that they were not commanded to work on.
Here's the
and it was just a reprimand.
Background. Let's just give a background to people who may not know, because I know as much as we've been talking about this case for 2 years now, there may be some people who may not understand what we are talking about. There are allegations that this docket 375 came from 636 because wrong things were happening in 636.
You must always be careful.
I must hold my tongue.
Because a certain docket
was taken out of 636. A very crucial docket. A statement, not docket. Statement was taken out of 636. Stolen. Right. So that the case could not perhaps allegedly say that there were no intruders. That could put maybe a nail in the coffin to say there were no intruders. However, that statement, gone. And then 375 was opened now by Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and BUTHELEZI after they found out that one of the investigators allegedly had taken that statement.
Took something away from it. And then they started opening their own mkuku, which is 375 in a sense.
And with 375, they took all the statements that were not prioritized at 636. And these investigators truly wanted the people in the house to be arrested for defeating the ends of justice. So they wasted their time making them run around like headless chickens, not wanting to tell the truth about what happened in the house. According to them. According to them.
The docket.
Yes. So now we are in a predicament where we've got this 636 that has opened up into where the other team is saying these people that were in the house are the ones that know what happened to Senzo Meyiwa.
Yes.
One of them is the one who killed him. The other team now of 636 that remained with Brigadier Gininda saying, no, those people in the house have nothing to do with this. They were intruders that came into the house and ended Senzo's life. So yes, that's a little bit of brief background.
So 375 is a son of 636 that was born with a bit of perfection. Think of it as a son of something that was not perfect in a sense. That's how I can put it.
So he says that the meeting didn't end well because the brigadier was taking exception about protocol and not being followed discipline, which resulted with the 2 members leaving with that docket, leaving them behind with the state advocate. So it means they were upset in this meeting. It means they were upset. That's my interpretation of what was going on.
And it ended there. Because there's nothing that seems to be saying otherwise.
And there's no story of if they were upset, what could have gotten them upset. There's none of that. So Balai then said, you said that there were certain facts that informed you that they were intruders. And Gininda said, absolutely, there were those 2 factors. But as I was looking into those factors, I was looking at them in relation to Longwe Twala. Because in the midst of allegations, Longwe's name was coming up as a possible suspect who may have shot the deceased.
Guys, let's press the like button.
When Gininda said that, when I looked at the docket, it was to establish that according to the preliminary statements which the defense had, there was a report that one of the cell phones belonging to Miss Kelly Kumalo was robbed, taken by the intruders. That was one of the allegations. He said he was able to establish the specific number which was taken because she had 2 cell phones which were disclosed according to the docket. There was a 082 number that was not taken and a 072 number that was allegedly taken by the perpetrators. So Gininda said that he looked at the cell phone records requested by the first investigating team. The numbers of all the people in the house were available in the docket, and he said what he could establish is before the incident took place, you can place all the cell phones, including the one that was allegedly taken by this one tower. In other words, that people who were in the house were at the crime scene. So after the shooting incident, the people who were inside the house moved to the hospital, and they were picked up by the hospital tower. Then Gininda said, and that was in line with the statements that he was reading in the docket. However, the alleged robbed phone took a different direction. And then when they were sitting at the hospital, the robbed cell phone tower was different, picking up at Muleleki section. Buleleki section. Gininda said that he could not get an explanation of who was in possession of that robbed cell phone because everyone who was inside the house was at the hospital. So in other words, if there were no intruders, one would not have expected the phone to go in a different direction. It would have remained at the scene or go with the people who were inside the house in the same direction. What an interesting analysis.
Oh, okay.
So Gininda said that when he saw this was clear that there were people who were attacked or who attacked them, who attacked the people who were in there. It was clear to him that there were people that attacked them in the house.
They were attacked.
Then Baloyi referred Gininda to the records that were provided by Pinky Faintilengem's Vodacom statement and asked about the number of the phone that was robbed. And he read the full number to be 072 ending with 498 and confirmed that that number was Kelly Kumalo's number according to Pinky's records. Gininda said that the number 072 ending with 2498 belonged to Kelly Kumalo and it was reported to have been taken during the incident. So the part of the reason why he came to the conclusion that there were no intruders was because he used that cell phone that was said to be alleged to have been taken to Basutong Hostel at around 10 p.m. So it was reading at Muleleki Tower while everyone else's cell phones were reading at where? The clinic's tower.
Wow.
That's what made him come to the conclusion that they were intruders.
Okay. Yesterday, the day before, we were hearing about the movement of the car.
Yes.
Right?
Longwe's car, the red Polo.
And
We don't know whether Longwe was the one driving it or not.
So the question is, did they all go to the hospital at the same time? Well, the AVL is saying no, that's not the case. Someone was left behind. You know? That's what the AVL is saying.
Yes.
At least. And they all took their directions. But the person who was left behind took the direction that also goes to the hospital but passes through passes through Basutung Hostel. Right?
He took the long drive.
The long drive, in a sense. You can put it like that. There's a shorter drive.
But the Longwe decided to take the longer way. Or the car of Longwe decided to take the longer way on the way to the hospital.
Let's put it a car, yes. A car that is allegedly said to be Longwe's car.
Let us not put Longwe in there because we have no confirmation of whether he was the one driving or not.
So someone passing there could have thrown that phone there. Why I'm saying that, Leonard investigator, you did not find this phone in these people's hands, not in their possession.
It wasn't in their possession. He's basing it all on a tower. Because it's reading in the tower, it means that they were intruders.
You never find that phone.
No,
it's not there.
No, it was never.
You just have a cell phone number. That's why you were able to pull section 205, right?
Yes.
And it ends there.
It ends there.
You can put the phone in the house where these people are were allegedly at, which in any case they are disputing that they were at that place with the so-called witness of yours. So you have nothing that puts these people in the house. You don't have a phone, but you believe the phone theory, and you didn't investigate it enough because you didn't even get that phone at the end of the day.
No.
You didn't come up with the phone and say, yeah, here's the phone. We got it from Ndans, or we got it from so and so. No.
He also completely ignored the route that the Red Polo took.
And what about the route? Yes.
He completely ignored it. Like it didn't have effect.
Someone could have passed there and threw the phone around that area. And obviously, while it's still on, it's going to ping on that area.
It wasn't effective to him. He said that he did pick up at Muleleki Tower, and the time that this phone number of Kelly that it picked up Muleleki Tower was 21:52 on the 26th of October 2014. He said that this was when all the occupants of the house, including Longwe Twala, were at the clinic's hospital. So he said that his cell phone and tracker pinged at the hospital.
Yes.
Baloy also asked him, are there any other factors that informed you that they were intruders? Gininda said that the second thing was the DNA, because it was contained in the statement that the perpetrators left their hat and mixed DNA was found. He said he checked that the DNA in comparison with everyone who was in the house, and what he found was that the DNA of everyone who was inside the house was excluded from the DNA found on the hat. Meaning that the contributor of the DNA found on the hat.
Guess what? Everything that could be wrong about 636 is actually wrong in my opinion. The phone could have been thrown by someone and it could be there even now, or it could be, I don't know where it is.
That car was traveling at a very slow pace. 20 kilometers per hour.
The DNA is used to exclude the people in the house. But now the DNA is not used in the same manner as it was used before to exclude people who were said to be intruders, because none of this DNA is matching the people who were said to be intruders, those 5 accused. None of it.
No.
None of it. Right?
Judge Zamilwati inconclusive, but there's no match.
Now we are told about inconclusive.
There's no match.
None of
If it was a match, Brigadier Gininda would have mentioned it right now, rather but now. Yes, they were matching DNA. That's how I came to that. No, he didn't.
Yeah, because there were no matches.
It wasn't a match.
So, people are there. You have taken their DNA. You have done almost everything. You still cannot find the DNA. Factor number 2, that is determining 636, is actually non-factor. Poor.
And another question I have, did any of the witnesses from the house ever testify to Melum Togo and Zandi ever mention that the police took their DNA?
No. No.
So Gininda then said that he checked the DNA of all the occupants and found that their DNA was excluded from the hat. The donor was not among the people who were in the house. That was also an indication because it's objective evidence. It is science, according to what he said. He did not remember the captain, who is the analyst, an expert who did the examination of the DNA. I think,
Emily, it's fine. Even if they did take the people who were in the house, did you hear them reading Longwe? That's what is important for me.
No. Longwe was not.
So the DNA of Long was not read on the record when they were saying excluding the people in the house.
It was read.
It was read.
It was read.
And they excluded Long.
They excluded on all. All.
The very same DNA, by the way, that has been alleged to be a woman DNA. Did they say the woman?
There was an allegation that the DNA in the hat was mixed DNA. It was that of a male and a female. There was an allegation. So right now, Brigadier Gininda is not even mentioning it in court.
No, but it's fine. I'm just saying. Fine. Factor number 2 is actually, it must be clear. Those people that are in a stand there, all of them, they are not included. It excludes them.
Well, he read out the report of the witnesses who analyzed the DNA, and he said that none of them were included in the hat. The results are that Mthokozisi Twala is excluded on all samples. Kelly Kumalo excluded on all samples. Tumelo Madlala excluded on all samples. Longwe Twala excluded on all samples.
Say what you think, Emil. Say what you think.
Zandi Kumalo included on a Smirnoff can. I have a problem with Kelly and Zandi Kumalo because that is their home. That is where they spend a lot of time. But it DNA yabo.
But it was
included on a Smirnoff can. Gladness Kumalo, who is the mother, included on the toilet door handle swab. At least akfan. Mnigas, bego mnigas umuzi at the time.
Yeah.
So in essence of the mixed DNA of the hat, none of them were read. Gininda said that the third factor, it was the vehicle tracking system of Long, where he was able to establish that he was driving a red Polo and looked at his vehicle movement. And what he found was that from the scene, it moved to the hospital. For example, it was not where the robbed cell phone was, the Moleleki Tower. How was a car supposed to read the Moleleki Tower? Brigadier Gininda, how was the car supposed to read the Moleleki Tower?
And it uses that AVL also.
No, but they use the cell phone for the tower.
Yeah, you are right in asking in terms of the tower. To debunk that, they can always say that car, they will pass that area of the Basutung hostel. So the only thing they did, in my opinion, is to give different time for the phone to ping, which is now the problem. The phone is not consistently pinging like AVL. The phone is pinging at certain times. And it's not fair to compare that, but you can always say that car did pass there.
Okay. Bello, you showed him the AVL report of Longwe's red Polo, and he said that at 210409, the vehicle was at Semsikwate. But I think I recall it as Semakate Avenue. Yes, Semakate Avenue.
Yeah.
And it indicated ignition off. Baloi asked him to place the number on record of 060 ending with 4043. And he said that the tower was Clinics Phosphorus. So this 06 number is the number that is alleged to have belonged to Longwe Twala on that night. And the tower was at Clinic Phosphorus. The user of the phone was Longwe Twala. Gininda said that the other factor that he looked at it was the eyewitness, not the people in the house, because there were questions. He said that they were trying to address that led him to the statement of the neighbors and people who were walking on the street. For example, the Ngaches. In their statement, it was clear that they saw some people running out during that commotion of the shooting. Please keep in mind that Ubab Ngache passed on and his statement could not be used in that court as a result. Only his son, Kaya Ngache, is the one who testified.
And Kaya Ngache is the one who was called by the father eventually after the whole incident, right? And
yes,
because there was someone who was, what, in their yard?
There's someone who jumped
yes,
the wall.
Yes. So I'm surprised in the manner in which this thing is put on, because the son said, I was called by my father. Right? But the father is the one, allegedly, according to the statement that he deposited, that was watching through the window, right?
Yes.
So, all this now of people running out of the house, all in Tabi mentioned people running out of the house.
There was also statements.
Because that statement of Ngash apparently said, allegedly, it said there were no intruders. There were no intruders. They did not see anyone other than the person
who jumped
the wall. Right?
And they alleged that person to be told. And then he came and said, no, I didn't jump the wall. I jumped the gate.
And then yes. Where is that statement of people who ran out of the house? Where is that statement?
Well, in Tabiseg's statement. Okay. And guess what? Today we found out that she's associated with the Department of Correctional Services.
Very, very interesting information.
On Tabiseg, Mokete. Osebenzele correctional services mtakabao. Correctional services. That was very interesting.
We should have known.
That is why I'm saying that Gininda begawa visa amagama today. Today we got extra information. You know? So they were just sitting opposite the crime scene when Tabiseg when this incident happened, and he said that he can recall that part of the statement. It is mentioned where perpetrators were seen running towards the park. It is in Tabiseg get this testimony that she did saw people that were running. She even saw the person with the dreads. There were two females who witnessed people running towards the direction of the park. It was two females, and both of them witnessed people running towards the park. Okay, but only in Tabiseg Mukete testified though. The other female who was allegedly driving the car did not testify. So the description of the dreadlocks made by one of the females also matched the description of the people inside the house who said that one of the perpetrators had dreadlocks. And please recall that Tabiseg Mukete is the niece of Mapiri. Keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that Mapiri
is
alleged to have mopped the house.
Clean or the scene.
Makeleni is one of the neighbors who also assisted with the drawing of the identikit of the intruder who was wearing a hoodie. He said that what he established,
I think, Emily, I'm not saying I said it in an affidavit. I think the Ngashe father was there on the documentary.
He was?
Yes, I'm getting this information from that.
Is there from the documentary, and his version is very different.
It's very different, yes. Yeah.
For those of you guys who watch the documentary, Ubaba Ngache is there on the documentary. And he gave a very different version to what we're hearing in court. And he was a former police officer. He was retired.
Yes.
So he said what he established, that there were no relationship between the people who were in the house with the neighbors. Their statements were acceptable because he did not see a reason for them to lie or be influenced. He found credence and reliability in that they were telling the truth in terms of what they saw. The identity kit was beamed in court, and Gininda pointed the suspect wearing a hoodie He continued to say he also looked at the first response officers who said they received reports of a shooting and that the intruders ran towards the direction of the park. So this Makeleni, mind you, and B, please note, they did not come to court to testify. It could be alleged that is one of the young men that have passed on. I don't know. I'm not sure at this point. I need to dig or recall what I heard on the documentary. And he remembers that it was Mtetwa and Matebula. And then Gininda said that now he was taking all these facts that he mentioned. It would have been a miscarriage of justice to still believe that no one came into the house. There's no way. He said he was convinced that people came into the house.
Yes, there
and
is.
Now,
the people came into the house. Yes. Even boss Senzo himself, they were not part of that family. They came into that house.
They came into that house.
So as Bolongwe, they came into that house.
And he said now his biggest mission was to find these perpetrators. He went back to the factors and says he also looked at the statements of the occupants to check if the description they gave were in line with the descriptions of the neighbors. Gininda said that he found that they do align, although with a few differences. He mentioned the height, the dreadlocks, among other things that were aligned. He said that the occupants of the house also contributed in drawing up the identikits. He said the dreadlocks description by the occupants also matched in types in description. Gininda also spoke about meetings with AfriForum in which they were on a watching brief for the Meyiwa family. Gerinel came to say he had a mandate to represent the family. He placed the request to meet the investigation team. Gininda said AfriForum got into contact with the Office of the National Commissioner. The Office of Brigadier Peruman gave an instruction for them to meet with them, and he said he doesn't recall the exact month, but it was between March and April of 2019. They indicated that they represented the Meyiwa family, and those who would they would be on the reporting lines, and he said they still are even today.
That's what got me. I was like, hey, what? These people are still getting feedback.
Was it what Tula? I don't blame him though. Why Tulela? Like, he's waiting for the victory.
Victory belongs to you. Victory belongs to. I'm sure they are singing that song. Victory belongs to.
He said that in terms of giving feedback to the family, there was an understanding that they will be the ones talking to them, and they will talk to them, and they will communicate to the family. Yeah. Is that how a watching brief works? Where you eliminate the communication with the investigating officer.
Yes,
the investigating officer doesn't have to come and brief you and update you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Gininda said that the concept that there were intruders in the house was also raised as a concern from them, and he wanted clarity. Subsequent to that, they carried on trying to look for the perpetrators. Gininda said he had a few briefings with AfriForum. Then there was one where he attended on his own, where the National Commissioner said that he must deal with them as the lead investigator without Brigadier Perumal, because he was taken off as the coordinator. He said the exchange information worked well up to today. So Brigadier Perumal left the team late in 2019. He said it's maybe December. The last meeting that they had was on the 13th of November 2019, where they met Constable Zungu. He was present in that meeting. And Baloy asked him to tell them about what led to the meeting with Constable Zungu on the 13th of November 2019. And Gininda said that around June, he received a call from the National Commissioner saying that there's an individual who has information about perpetrators who were involved in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. And he said he then proceeded to the office, and this is where Constable Zungu was introduced to him with the information. After meeting him, he gave him a report which suggested that his father was a direct witness to what he was telling him about, which implicated two people.
So let's create this, let's see this story. These guys are arrested on the basis of hearsay. Through Zungu, that heard through his father, and the father heard through them.
Yes.
It's not double hearsay.
Double hearsay.
But Zungu is the one who testified in court, not the father. No, not the one who heard from the horse's mouth. No. Zungu. Why was it important for Zungu to come and testify on behalf of his father?
I don't know.
If he's still there, you must fetch him.
Why must they fetch him?
No, he must come and tell the theory that the son told.
Maybe he doesn't want to tell the theory.
Yes, but they must subpoena that man. He must come there if he's still alive.
For all we know, the father allegedly may have nothing to do with this.
For heaven's sake.
I don't know. Maybe the father doesn't know about this, doesn't know that he's supposed to be going to court. The way
yes, that's why they must fetch him. They must fetch him.
This court case.
They must fetch him.
That's where the names of accused number 1 and 2 came up. But the father was not present. The meeting took place at the office of the National Commissioner. That's when he received the call. And he asked that they must keep him there until he got there. That's what Brigadier Gininda was saying, that keep him there, keep Zungu there before I arrive. So Gininda said he then told him that he would need to speak to the father to confirm what he was telling him. He would need to be relying, or he would not need to be relying on hearsay. Yet here we are.
And there's a statement that the father, right?
It was alleged that there was a statement that the father wrote, and I think it was handed in. I'm not sure.
So where's the father? This is the person who caused this whole row, right?
Yes.
Where is the father?
It seems like Zungu was in charge, man.
Where is the father? Yes, the father must come.
I feel like he was very much in charge.
They must bring that father. And I'm showing a surprise. I'm showing a surprise. Kamnandi. If they could actually talk to him before, with him for, we would like you to come. If he's still there.
Yeah. And to me, it's interesting that he told Zungu that he doesn't want to rely on hearsay. But here we are.
We're
kind of in a situation where now it's hearsay.
These are hearsay.
Zungu that has
These guys were arrested on the basis of, alleged on the basis of what Zungu said.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Here we are.
Nothing else. Gininda watched the document and said, oh, now I need to look for people. And I like,
of nowhere,
I like how he puts it. You know, said now I have to look for people. That's why there was someone in KZN who was testifying, right? Because you had to look for people, right? And then Zungu, by the grace of the man above, he came. Yeah, mina.
Wathi mina ngizotestify. Mina ngiyabazi laba bantu laba bayenza lento le.
Nganginabo that day. I was with them that day.
Ngiyabazi.
Whether they know me or they don't know me, it does not matter. I was there and I'm a police.
And futhi ngibabonile. Angibabonanga mabayenza lento kodwa ngibabonile ukuthi baqhamuka. Bashilo bathi bona baqhamuka. Kwaphuzwa ama whiskey. A lot was going on. They
were celebrating.
He said they were celebrating. Yes. Here we are because of Zungu's hearsay. Brigadier Gininda. And he said that he told him that it wouldn't be easy. It was clear that there was fear of reprisals and people could lose their lives. He said they parted ways and would allow him the chance to try and convince his father, the very same father who could not make it to court and come and testify. So the accused are arrested on the basis of what Zungu said, what he heard from his father. So he said he also needed the station where he was stationed.
Where have you been? Yeah, Zungu. That's what Zungu said. You said he was with the 5 guys at the hostel.
Yes, he was. He said that. He testified. It was a whole testimony.
There's nothing to prove that. Not even a picture. But yeah, he was with the
But
5
he
guys.
was with the 5 guys. He was there.
He was not in the
drinking
pictures
basinyama,
as they were taking
bashaya
pictures.
ingoma, kwakumnandi hostel.
Bakhumbuzana ukuthi ugadla ke lo.
He even knew accused number 5's polo, silver polo or something like that.
Ugadla no. I don't know.
He testified, gave a whole testimony about how he was there on that night, the 26th of October 2014. He was there at the hostel, Basotong Hostel. Yes. He had since retired, General Leshabani. So General Leshabani is the one who took Zungu to go to the
Zungu is not in any of the pictures with these people.
No.
But he was there.
But he was there. Yes. Gininda said that there was no outcome until the 13th of October 2019. Leading to the 13th of October 2019, he said that he was struggling to reach Zungu. So he ended up saying to Brigadier Perumal that he only had what he needed to be followed up, and it was still outstanding. Constable Zungu was now not found. So he asked Perumal to accompany him in working together to try and get the matter forward. Arrangements were made through General Leshabani, and on the 13th of November, they then met Zungu. He said the meeting with Zungu was fruitful.
You know what is funny, Emily, before I even forget? It is funny that Gininda relied on those sketch. What is it called? Identity kit. Because the very same identity kit was used to arrest someone who was washing Senzo's car, and the family of Kelly knew that guy allegedly.
Yes.
They knew him. That's what he says. The guy. That's what he said. They knew him. He used to wash Senzo's car. That guy went to jail.
Yes.
They never said anything. They never debunked it. Now it changes, this identity kit. Now it looks like Bontanzi, and people who were drawn there, no one is light. Accused number...
It's a mess.
Accused number 3 is light in complexion, as you can see. Shorter.
Zamogush Mbata is not
All
light
those
in
people
complexion.
are dark. And
he had
Zamogush had
dreads.
dreads.
And he's not light in complexion like accused number 3. It's a mess.
I'm afraid, no. We will follow this case because we have to.
So on the 13th of November, they then met Zungu, and he said that the meeting was fruitful. Okay. And that Zungu said that he managed to convince his father that they can arrange the next meeting where the father would then reveal himself. So on the 17th of November, they met with the father, and that is where the names of accused number 1 and number 2 came up. So Brigadier Gininda is saying that the names of accused number 1 and number 2, he did not get them from Zungu. He got them from Zungu's father. Yes. So Baloy then asked him, what is the name of Constable Zungu's father? And he said it's Absalom Zungu. Gininda said that they got in a statement, and he said for the first time we had names of two
for
possible
those who are
suspects.
coming from KZN, Absolute.
Absolute.
Absolute. Yeah, that was a famous name during those times. There were many Absolute.
And he said that that is where the cold case investigation around them started. Again, what made this a cold case? That's the part I don't understand.
It got cold. He
said as a result, the number of cases were picked up against accused number 1, and Sergeant Mukhola was assigned to investigate those matters. Do you guys remember when Sergeant Mukhola denied arresting accused number 1 for the possession of illegal firearms and illegal substances? She said nothing about Brigadier Gininda sending her to investigate that case. She didn't testify to that effect. 2 constables arrested accused number 1 that were very different to Mukhola. Mukhola only came later on in the picture.
Yeah.
So the case against accused number 2 was assigned to Sergeant Mokhani. Yet Mukhola was also there, according to what has been given, the evidence that has been given to in court. He was accompanying Mokhani to go arrest accused number 2. while they were focusing on this main case. So Gininda said accused number 1 was arrested on the 30th of May on the Tembisa case, the illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. No, not firearms, ammunition and
in
illegal substances.
Plastic, yes.
In a black plastic.
Same as the one that they found in Tanzania. Black plastic.
In a black plastic.
He
said that they did a profiling under cold case analysis and they picked up the number of dockets that were unresolved, where there were suspects and the matters were not finalized. Tembisa case 217 of 2019 was one of the matters where the warrant of arrest was issued on that matter of forced arrest. Was attempted murder and there were warrants of arrest there also. These matters came up due to the profiling of suspects. The purpose of this strategy was to have them on site so that they can obtain things that they did not have, like the DNA that did not match. But he was saying that actually
they were still kept on the site.
This is a nice way of him saying that they profiled them and then they went and arrested them. He's making it seem that they found cases that were pending where they were supposed to be arrested, they were never arrested. So what they did is that they used those cases.
Initially, that's what
warrants of arrest.
That's what initially. That's what was initially what was said by those who were testifying.
Yeah, they said it that way.
Now it has changed. They arrested them on the basis of this case,
of Senzo's case,
and then the cases subsequently, other cases
after the profiling,
after profiling started showing up.
Yes,
you know, this is one testimony in one court by different teams, I guess.
I'll put my head on a chopping block.
Hey, you know?
Nah. Something that she didn't want to admit.
But they were actually arrested. And the accused were saying they were arrested on the basis of?
Senzo Meyiwa case.
No, the accused, they were saying they were arrested. Oh yeah, the accused said because of Senzo Meyiwa, that's why they were there. And then these ones, I said, no, we arrested them because they had cases.
And then your lead investigator is telling it like
I'll put my head on the block.
Lead investigator and I would say hi. And I wanted them for Senzo's case.
Then we profiled them.
Then I profiled them and I found other cases.
And then we used that case to keep them on the site.
It is the purposes of
exactly
finding DNA
what
and
the
stuff.
Accused were saying.
You wanted DNA and stuff. Wanted to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put my head on a chopping block.
Now who's lying now? Now who's lying?
He said Mogola called him to say that accused number 1 was arrested under the Tembisa case 2175 of 2019. Then he was briefed that he was found with an unlicensed ammunition. He requested to meet him at the Vosloorus police station so he can interview him due to the reporting that he made some form of an admission in relation to the matter of Senzo Meyiwa. He said that they had asked him who reported that he was making admissions, and he said it was Sergeant Mogola. And after meeting accused number 1, he was willing to give a confession statement. That's when Colonel Mboto was arranged. He said he was in the sober senses, and he told him that he did not take any intoxicating substances.
But he says, at some point, he said, I put it to you that you killed Senzo Meyiwa, right?
Yes.
How then? Because someone was already ready to confess.
But why are you putting it to them?
And then you're still putting it to them.
Sangan. This is storyless.
Hey, I got to pay. You're right. They go to your baba.
Gininda said that he was in Vosloorus inside a police vehicle, a red Golf, after 7 o'clock when he explained accused number 1's rights to him. He said he was first introduced by Sergeant Mogola to Sbia and then showed him his card and rank. Gininda said that led to Colonel Mboto being arranged to take the statement. What came out is that he was implicating himself as being there, but not as the shooter. He said he remembers him saying that he was there, but he was not the shooter. he warned him twice, and the second time was to get a response on what he elected to do, appointing a lawyer. This is Brigadier Gininda saying that he warned accused number 1 twice and even advised him to get a lawyer. He said he also explained to him the consequences of making a statement. That's when he told him that he had reasons to believe that he was involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. He said, yes, he was involved, but was not the shooter. He then started mentioning names like Marco and Makimbi Buthelezi. Gininda said he also tried to establish who else he has spoken to about this, and he only mentioned a traditional healer who was referred to as Mkhulu. He said Sibia also indicated that he did not know the address, but would point out where it is. Well, since Zungu testified that he was mentioned to him, in fact, he said he mentioned it to him. He did not mention it to his father. He said accused number 1 confessed to him that he knew. Remember, you guys remember the testimony. That's what Zungu told the court. And now we are hearing a different version where Gininda is asking, who else did you tell? Who else did you tell that you committed this crime? And he says that Mkhulu is the one that I told.
That Mkhulu that keeps on referring on Sibia. Hey, yabona
not Zungu.
Yabona the testimony of Mkhulu muyikhumbula kahle. Maybe we'll find it. Yabona what was done to it today in that court. Angiyazi le nto. That Mkhulu clearly said, I cannot point at the person because it's not here. Right?
Usbia maziyo yena. The Sibia that he knows was not in that court.
So was be official. Hey, high court. Yeah. Things are happening in that court, man. Like some of the things we are watching there, baby. Like, we're like, what? Oh, read that part. Oh, move from that part. if you can read that one on your finger there, if you can just that line. Yes.
Enough with the written statements now. We need recordings. Video recordings.
No, it's not even a statement. This one is a court record. A danger of that court record. That what is being done to it, it changes things. That's beer. Hematot. That's beer. How can someone who's in the same court with someone say that's beer?
I don't remember Mkhulu Lion saying that. But it was there. The transcript was being read.
No, I'm saying we need to revisit just that testimony.
I need to note it because
that's beer. Hey, my God.
Gininda then said after the confession was taken, he was brought back to him. He said that he checked if he was still fine. He then established if he would be able to take him to the traditional healer, and after he received back the statement after a day or two, he noted that he was told that what was contained in the statement, maybe with more detail, but the essence of what he told him was that it was included in that statement. Then Baloyi asked him what time was this, and Gininda said that it was after midnight. He said he knows that they parted ways at 1 o'clock. When he agreed, I then referred him to Sergeant Mohola that she would go to him, and that if he needed assistance with a lawyer, then he could indicate so. Sergeant Mohola informed Brigadier Gininda on the 31st of May that the traditional healer had been located. They then agreed to meet at the provincial office of the detectives in Addington. And he said he went to the provincial office where he was introduced to Mr. Zwani, the traditional healer who would have cleansed them. He said Mr. Zwani came to testify in this case. Gininda said that while he was there, the SWAT team entered with accused number 1. Now, this is the part where he was reading Mkhulu Zwani's statement. What I remember is that he was handcuffed and had leg irons. When he walked in, they looked at each other, and Mr. Zwani said in isiZulu, "Hawu mfana kaSibiya, waboshwa kangaka kwenze njani?"
This all happens behind the scenes, right? Only the police can come with it.
To
In
translation.
Court, that Mkulu cannot point at Spear. As a judge, I would have wrote that down.
Mfana kaSibiya waboshwa kangaka wenze njani? Sibiya, you are being arrested so many times.
I mean, no, so
what
heavily.
Is happening? Or say heavily. So heavily. My apologies. So heavily. What is wrong? He was shocked by how he was cuffed. He then responded by saying it's that Senzo Meyiwa matter that we came to cleanse for. How come I don't remember Lion Zwani Mkulu Zwane's day?
No,
What good record is this?
It's what happened.
What is this court record?
No, it's not a court record. It's what happened behind the scene.
What happened behind the scene?
It's what?
How come Kulu Lion didn't say it? He did not say it. What are we gonna do because he did not testify to saying this or having this conversation? Isn't Ziwanjani? Are they going to recall him and force him to say it? What is going to happen? What is supposed to happen now? What is going to happen? Because I don't remember his testimony going down like this.
In a sense, that part of the court record, it changed the testimony of that man.
Without him changing it.
That's how scary these things of court are.
Kaibo, guys. Kaibo.
They took that spear. They are using Gininda to collaborate through what happened behind the scenes in whatever place where they were. You know? Oh, Mfanaka spear. So that Mfanaka spear is no longer that spear that Mkulu kept on referring to in court. It became this short spear.
This short spear.
Accused number one. Right in front of your eyes. You are watching it. Voila.
Thank goodness for the recordings. Because what? Gininda then went back to the factors that he considered when looking at whether there were intruders in the Khumalo home or not. He said he forgot 2 points. Gininda now went back to what he had forgotten. He said that the ballistics testing on Chico Silotwala's firearm was done because there were lots of rumors that the firearm was used in the killing of
No
Senzo
accountability
Meyiwa.
for those rumors. They just had a lot of rumors.
The rumors.
Nothing of sort or paper that says, hey, this is what we are talking about.
And why would that firearm still be around if it was not found at the scene by the police? Just a question I'm posing. I don't know. It showed that it was negative according to Brigadier Gininda, and it was not the firearm to discharge the bullet found at the crime scene.
It couldn't have been.
And the one that killed the deceased. He wanted to give the second point, but then Advocate Baloyi stopped him and asked him about Colonel Mangena's ballistic report. Then he said that they will come back to it at a later stage. Gininda said that there's also a statement in the 636 docket that says Longotwala or Kelly Khumalo killed Senzo Meyiwa. There's no statement from an eyewitness who says that they saw X shooting X. There's also no statement that says there were no intruders or that they heard gunshots but saw no one. The only statement that seems to suggest that Senzo was shot by Longwe is the statement by Mr. Hlophe. But that was hearsay. He said he was told by Mr. Madlala, but Mr. Madlala refuted that claim. Remember how Mr. Madlala refuted it in his statement? He blatantly said, it's a mangalaw, when they told him about the statement of Mr. Hlophe. Mr. Hlophe is Senzo Meyiwa's brother-in-law, who it is being alleged Tumelo called on that night of the incident and told him that Zandi's boyfriend is the one who shot Senzo. Mr. Madlala denied it in court and he said he never said that. He refuted it so much, you know, and it's funny how he refuted it. In 2018, in 2018, this year, a lot was happening in 2018. That's when Mr. Madlala refuted passionately.
2018, when the new investigator eventually became the leading investigator.
You guys, there were even new statements that were written in 2018 that debunked some of the things from the statements that were taken in 2014. 2018, a lot happened. So the motive is something else, Brigadier Gininda said. But he said that he was convinced, and he's still convinced, that there were intruders in that house. Gininda gave the details of the pistol as well, and Gininda, the pistol that is currently being used in court, the parabellum. Gininda also gave it the picture. He tells the court that the picture was that of accused number 3, who had dreadlocks and dressed in beige. It was taken on the 26th of October 2014. He also needed to mention that the people in the house mentioned that one of them was dressed in a khaki and had dreadlocks. Gininda said that he must also mention that the people on the house mentioned the khaki and the dreadlocks. He went to say that the photos were recovered in 2015 from accused number 3's phone. Baloyi also referred him to Mr. Zwane's statement. Gininda read the parts where Zwane said Sibiya was referred to him by an unknown person because he had been looking for employment. It is said that Sibiya came with 2 other people. The statement indicates that Sibiya came back a few days later and told Mr. Zwane that the job was done, but someone had been injured there. Gininda read where Zwane said that he told Sibiya that in his culture, cleansing is usually done after somebody has died. Gininda said that this was in essence of him wanting to speak to Hilton to establish what was said, as accused number 1 told him that during this cleansing process, they told the traditional healer. They confessed to the traditional healer, is what he was trying to say.
I would say, I don't believe that. No Zulu person can say cleansing is usually done when someone has died.
No, they won't say it like that. Even sangomas, even fake sangomas, even every kind of sangoma, or a person who works with this kind of stuff, they never say that.
Cleansing
they will never put it like that.
Body.
Yes.
There are a lot of things. Bad luck.
Yes.
You're seeing like
you're looking for a job.
Looking for a job.
You are having bad luck.
You have bad luck.
You are looking for a lover.
You have bad omen over you. There are a lot of reasons.
Yes, you have a spiritual husband or a spiritual wife. They will need for you to perform a cleansing. They will not specifically say to you, just because you're looking for a job, oh, because you guys have confessed to me, and you came to me looking for a job, and now you've confessed to me that someone died as you were looking for a job. And I'm like, usually when people die, we do cleansing.
And cleansing is not done when people die, the one that they were doing. When people die, yes, niyahlamba. Hayi kodwa ngentelezi. Hayibo.
They mentioned intelezi lapha.
Uyohlamba ngentelezi kushona umuntu. Wakwayizwa blonde. That's why ngithi hayi kodwa ubaba uZwane yena siyazi ukuthi umZulu ngoba uZwane.
And he never said anything on any of these things. I don't remember him admitting to any of these things.
Yena siyamazi ukuthi umZulu akangomswati noma akangomxhosa umZulu ya.
He said yena uyalapha. Ulapha abantu. Uyalapha. You guys do remember that he said he heals.
Imagine if someone dies usudinga inyanga all the time. Come clean us. But we know for sure. Researched. And was I hearing things when I heard that the Bokel also went for cleansing?
No, you were not hearing things. There were reports, newspaper articles that had reported that even in the documentary Umziligazi or Africa, it said that Kelly Komalo, it is being alleged that she went to the cleansing to the Sangoma after the incident, on the night of the incident. It's an allegation. We don't know whether it's true or not, but it was reported in that manner. You know. I don't know why they would want to, or the same kind of thing they would want to put it here, because here it's a bit tricky with it fitting, because it's a bit tricky. What makes it tricky is because the person that was supposed to come and testify to all of this testified
didn't Kelly
completely
also say
different.
that they did cleansing in one of the interviews?
I don't know.
I don't know, but
I
it's
can't
fine.
confirm. I don't know.
It's fine.
A lot has been happening over the last 10 years. I can't keep up. There's a lot that's been happening. Well, he said that this is in line with the investigations, and in some of the photos, accused number 1 was seen pointing that the place he was seen pointing at, he went to visit the scene in Kutwanong Street. He took the pointing out officer to that address. He also saw the pointing out at Basutung Hostel. Gininda said that Sibia mentioned to him on the 30th before being taken to make a confession statement that this was a contractual killing, and the person who had ordered the hit was the then girlfriend of the deceased Kelly Kumalo.
Yet it's outside. Roaming. It's cool.
She's living her life. She's living soft and nice. Life is a beautiful
icon. If we don't laugh, we will cry. But
we will weep.
Press that like button.
I need a body break, you guys.
You do?
I do need
Don't
a
wanna
body
finish
break.
it?
I don't want to finish because people are not liking.
Finish.
Guys, like the video.
What we can do is to shut the calls, maybe, and then.
No, shut the calls. It's just give them time to think and call.
It's 1 o'clock. It's actually 2.
It's 2. I wish I could say I don't need this body break, but I need it. 5 minutes of calls. What do you guys say? 5 minutes of calls. And I need a body break. I'm sorry. I need a body break. I will be back to finish if I can finish. If not, then it's fine. It's cut off. The best and the gist is gone. The sauce, the mwah is gone. Well, I can still hold on until we receive a call. He said that it was during the interaction at the parking lot of the police station in Vosloorus prior to him being handed to Colonel Mboto at Ayrton Police Station. And he said that it was also contained in the statement that Sibia later made. But he continued to take Brigadier Gininda through the pictures of the pointing out on photo 19. And he said that there was a comment beneath the picture of the main road. Accused number 1 was pointing at a spot situated next to Basutwini Hostel. This comment was written on that picture, and the picture in itself, Mnisi was saying that it was accused number 1 pointing somewhere else. They were not pointing at Basutung Hostel. He even objected, saying that Brigadier Gininda was trying to come with his own analysis. A pointing out is a very specific thing. It's either you pointed a specific thing without the information that is being interpreted. Now he was feeding this court what he thinks could have been a point or pointed at on that alleged day. So the judge said that he listened to him very carefully, and he said that he knows that spot. I mean, he said that he's pointing at a tar road, and Brigadier Gininda was saying that that was Basutung Hostel. The judge said he can argue that, and he said that he did not need to argue, or for it to be argued, it needed to be taken up so that it needs to be corrected, because the court will later on say that they did not raise that objection. So the judge said that under cross-examination, he can put it to Brigadier Gininda that he was wrong, and he wanted to cross-examine him during the time that he was giving his testimony. And he said that he doesn't know that procedure.
Why did the judge keep on saying cross-examine, when people are just raising
He wanted them to not raise objections, to sit down, to shut up and wait for their turn.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. And to wait for their turn till they cross-examine. That's what he wanted or prefers. But then, Mnisi said that this serves to jog the minds of himself and his colleagues. But I then told Mnisi to read section 209 of the CPA, the Criminal Procedure Act. The judge told him to read it. He read it. And he said that section 209 was saying that the confessions that have been allowed, he said that the investigation officer was trying to do was to connect the dots to show that the spot that pointed out by accused accords with the objective evidence. Yeah, but this to me felt like forcement. Like it felt like the glove doesn't fit.
The judge didn't say, I'm overruling your objection.
Nothing.
Kept on saying, continue. I'm sure I understood to explain that the gist of the objection was Section 219. It is not the explanation given by the witness where he says that the picture is pointing or giving information on the description. This witness cannot give explanation of what was pointed out and being shown, because pointing out will have notes. It will be recorded there. It does not mean that the IO now has to come and explain to say that they pointed by the accused, which was not the correct information evidence contained in the exhibit. So the judge asked him, Shololo, how does she ascertain that? You know, you've got a right to cross-examine this witness until an objection is raised, you know. And he even made an example, until Mandela is raised from the dead. Why does the judge always deviate and just deviate?
I don't know.
And pretend as if he doesn't understand the objection.
I don't know. Nami, I'm starting to
why does he do that?
To get lost. I don't know what he's talking about.
What? To confuse
I don't even want to
record?
try. Sometimes I feel like it's confused the record, but at the same time, like I don't even want to try to understand what the context of this is. I don't think I can afford it. I'm
for
tired.
Someone who says that is attentive and you know my worry is he never get anything that Baloyi is trying to say wrong.
No.
Never.
Never ever. No.
But
it's always the defense where he
in
doesn't
fact,
understand.
in support of Baloyi, he can
or
actually
throws
end up
in
getting
Mandela
it wrong, and
resurrected
Baloyi
from the
would say,
dead. I'm like,
this thing of Mandela is thrown.
Resurrected. The other time it was Jesus. I was so perplexed by that. I'm like, where does this come from? Now it's like Mandela resurrected. I'm like,
why is he not using his relatives for resurrecting? Why is he using people's relatives and people's beliefs?
I don't know. Maybe you should throw,
you know that situation,
throw them off.
But you don't play the game, play the player.
Maybe that's the situation here. Mshololo said that they have a right, that if something is wrong is happening in court, then the evidence is led, they have a right to raise the objection. If the objection is overruled, there's no problem. They will proceed. But they have a right to point to the court and raise the objection on unfairness that is happening in the court when it appears to them. But Loy said that there's no unfairness. A question or a confession cannot stand on its own. It's got to be supported by objective facts. Isn't that what we've been saying all along? You know, I just feel like why all along for the past 2 years you can't just have a confession with no investigation. Finally you are saying it, State Advocate George Baloyi. And the only way is if the investigation, he said, officer or the investigating officer says a spot has been pointed out and that spot accords to my knowledge of the crime scene. That is how you weigh the confession, because on its own, as Section 219 says, there has to be evidence alunde or confirmation of the confession or pointing out in the material respect. Glad that you see this. Now the question is the other part. What you're trying to do now is to compensate for work that should have been done in the form of investigations. You are trying to force the unforceable. There's a phrase written at the bottom of the picture that Brigadier Gininda was not even a part of. There's defense,
and someone has testified on it.
Someone has already testified in it. So that is all you have to try and support the confession. That's Ziakal. Now, also, the judge said that the defense had a right to cross-examine. They can put it to Brigadier Gininda that he's wrong during cross-examination. Baloyi said that he wanted to refer them to some more of the whatever sections that he wanted to quote. And Nisi stopped him. He asked the court if it had not made a ruling, because they will also respond by referring him to certain authorities. Otherwise, he's overruling the court. Nisi said that Baloyi must be specific. He's addressing the court because he is not interested in being educated by him.
He's addressing the court.
He said he's not interested. He's not interested in being educated by Advocate Baloyi. He is educated enough to be educated by him. Okay, guys, that's a wrap. I'm done.
We're done.
I'm done.
Thank God. You can go. You can go. Right. Let's hear what you guys have to say. Let's hear what you guys have to say. If you have to say anything, just quick and short. Good morning, family. I've asked when Tabiseng testified, did they mention that she was employed or she was recently compensated with correctional services job? I get your question. Allegedly compensated. I get you. I hear what you're trying to say. I hear. But as in fact, abantu bayapromote left and right. Such as life. Right, guys. Anything? Nothing. And I mean, it'll be right time to actually drive and go sleep. We have a long day tomorrow. It's Friday. Friday. Thank you very much, guys, for those who donated. Sibusiso Ndlovu, thank you for being with us. Nangelop, thank you. Sorry about the network. Dan, thank you very much for being with us. Busani Sibanda, our member, thank you. Lebza, thank you. Let's see, Sheshe, thank you very much for being with us. Nat, thank you. Nat, thank you for being with us. Busani, I've mentioned you. Tobega D, our member, thank you very much for being with us. Ultra Star, thank you for your donation and for being with us. Thank you. Mzansi, hello.
Good morning, Mzansi Radit. How are you, Misano?
We're good, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Can I also just pass my greetings to Emily? Sister Emily?
It's not here.
Thanks for the
Body
great
break.
summary. Yeah, I missed, I think, the afternoon part of the testimony for this gentleman that is so-called investigating officer. But I must just say his investigating skills or what he did on this case, I just don't see any investigation. He just started a docket and started putting pieces together.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, according to my view, it's unfortunate he took a family matter or a family dispute and put it into this case of murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Otherwise, it has nothing to do with this. Please ignore the politics of what was happening within police in this case. It's none of our business. We are not interested in who's. We want to know who killed Senzo. That is our interest.
Yeah.
Right. So I removed all that politics in my listing. I said I don't care about all this. So I was more interested in when he starts linking the case. Zungu is the one who links all these cases. Constable Zungu. So, you know, when they don't have proceedings like we're waiting for Gininda, you know, sometimes you just get bored and then say, hey, let me go and listen to Zungu. During the day, yesterday, I listened to Zungu's testimony when he was being cross-examined by Advocate Numalo.
Yeah.
And Zungu was saying he was with these guys for sure. He even was saying I was sitting on the left side of the window when we were going to buy Jwala at Tops. So that's according to the Constable Zungu.
Yeah.
And now, because I used to ask myself, Mr. Ano, why is Zungu just coming from nowhere and pick these guys? That is these guys who killed Senzo. Today, it made sense.
Yeah.
100% sense.
Yeah.
I just went on Google and Googled Fiso Kufi and Tuli Hitman. And then it brought these 6 life terms for this notorious guy. And then let me check who is in these 6 life terms.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that Ntuli Feda killed Spamanda Mtoko Zungu in August of 2018. And then it made sense now that, okay, this the father for Zungu, Absolu, Absalom, probably his brother or his younger or older brother, was killed by Nkani, the accused number 5. And they were just finding a way to put him further into jail, like a fight back. Because you can see that this whole thing came from a family discussion that happened in KZN, and then the father had, and then he had to call the son. Now the son is saying I was there to try to link the story. But after listening to Gininda and everything that happened today, I don't know if tomorrow is going to come with another firework. No case. The state has 0 case. It's just based on what I heard from this one, but what is the evidence? He's saying he eliminated people inside the house based on DNA that he was not linking on the head.
Yeah.
But the same DNA that was on the head did not link these accused. So why didn't you also eliminate them? So after all this, I don't know where we are going. It's like we are headless. We are just going. But I doubt if there will be anything out of this. So, those were my few points. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice, short and sweet. Let's see, guys. Still here. Pedro, thank you very much for being with us. Bandas Katele, thank you for being with us. Let me start up front, up at the top. Let's see who was with us here. I saw Lufate Tandazo Hluze, thank you very much. Maudwan, thank you very much. Sizwe 18, thank you. Let me Mamel Skunana, our member, thank you. Tobega D, our moderator, thank you. Dipu, thank you. Chugu Anna, our member, thank you very much. Tidi Anna Muhapi, thank you, our member, and thank you for your generous gift, thank you. Let's see, Boy Tumelo, thank you very much. Aishi, thank you very much, and we greet you back. I think Lebs have mentioned you. Brenda Ngema, thank you. Ndosi. How Sitsile? Emil is not here to correct me. I'm gonna butcher his names. Hey, if I did, sorry. My tongue's twisting. Tongue twist or something like that. Black Boy, thank you very much for being with us. English straightforward. English straightforward. Our African language. Sibanda, I think I've mentioned you. Patience, thank you. Sia Sonke, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you. Nogukanya Ngobo, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you. Busani, I've mentioned you. Shlesh, I've mentioned you. Vusutanda, thank you very much also for your generous gift, and thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Nomtebo Kamile Langamanda, thank you. Mamel, thank you very much for being with us. Let's go down and Crown. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Let's see. Colin Vavidal, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you also. Let me see. It's now people that I've mentioned. So that means I need to scroll as fast as I can so that I can get more people to go through and talk to. Boitumelo, I've mentioned you, maybe or maybe not, but thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. You are appreciated here at Mzansi Person. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you and your contribution. Koi Nkwanazi Music, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you. I hope you do music. Sian. Siana, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you. Lady C, thank you. Farai James, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Noni, thank you for being with us. We appreciate Gaby, our member. Thank you. You are appreciated in this area of Mzansi. Let me see. Who am I missing? Lindan Dube, thank you. Bongani Manuel, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you guys. All of you. That's why we always call your name, because you are important to us and we appreciate you. That's the way we appreciate. Thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you. I think all the way from Botswana. And is it Botswana? I could be wrong. Botswana or Lesotho. remind me if you are still here. Busani, thank you for being with us. If I'm repeating your name, then James, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Hey, Thomas, thank you for being with us. I'm running away from the trap of trying to pronounce your name, the first one. Thank you, Thomas. You'll understand that. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, you are with us. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good.
Hi, sir.
Reality.
Hi, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, man. Speaking to Danny from Story.
Yes, Danny.
Yes. Hey, man. Hey, what up? Can I just maybe add my piece here?
Do.
When the number one reason why the leading investigator, he said, I decided that there were people in the house that came in or something like that. He said because the cell number, that 072 number of Kelly was taken, and then it pinged in the Malelegi Tower, you know. And then it shows that the people that went to the hospital and that cell phone took like different directions, you see. But when you check the map, actually, when you are in Kumalo's house or home, the hospital and the hostel are in the same direction, you see. It's almost like you go southeast direction.
Yeah.
That's the entrance of Foslo from the N3. Yes. But when you go to the hostel is covered by 4 towers, you see. It means the Tower of Mleleki, the Tower of Clinics, Ubankhoto, and also I think there's a Fossil Ross Tower there. So even if you are in clinics, I mean, you're in the hostel, you are covered by clinics. It means, because it doesn't mean when you're in the radius or the cycle of a tower, you can't pick up by another one. It depends on the availability, you see.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you can decide that, no, there's a different direction. Not like it's those directions is almost the same, you know.
Yeah, no, I
so
get you.
I don't understand why that he's saying from Kelly's home, the cell phone took a different direction, which is not true. You know? And the other one, the second point was...
You've got a point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. The second point was to say, I eliminated the son of Chico, or the whatever, through his father's gun. You know? But who said the son brought his father's gun? I mean, you can... The son could have brought his own gun.
Yeah.
So you can't say his father is the only one who's got a gun. They are eliminating his son. You know?
Yes.
As if the father is the son. Yeah.
No, I get you.
Yeah. That man doesn't have the truth inside. That guy is a smooth talker, but you think he's got all the points. But I don't think that's the case. Remember, MAKHUBO said there was no leading investigator. We were all appointed.
Yes.
But he's saying I was overseeing everyone.
I guess self-appointed. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a smooth talker. I don't know. But I think it's going to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Unless if the judge is interested.
I like that. Yeah, no, I get you.
Oh, that's my input.
Thank you very much for your input. You've got a point, actually.
Okay.
Thank you. All in the same direction. Any tower could have been picked. Right, Commander Peace. That's the point that the caller was making. Any tower, depending on how busy that other tower is, the one at the hospital. No man, Joshua, Botswana, we are here. We love you. Thank you very much from all the way from Botswana. No man, thank you. We appreciate you. This site in South Africa. Tembelani Kanye, thank you very much. let me see who I have not mentioned. Muhliz, one, thank you. We appreciate you, Mamela. Thank you, our member. Yes. If I see you and I repeat you, yeah, but I'm about to Ultra Star. Thank you very much for being with us. And yes, everyone that was on the comment, guys, Spongy, SI, thank you very much. We appreciate you, Lindan Lamini. We appreciate you, Mlambo Design. We appreciate you, Jimmy. Doves, thank you, Bongi Muhabi. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Vusi, thank you very much. We appreciate you, Timberland Kanye. Night on your side. It's a night. Yes, it's a morning in our side. Kule M, thank you. Nanjelob, we appreciate you. Tini Ndlovu, we appreciate you. Laura, thank you. Our member Nkosinathi Zakwe, thank you. And that it's the bye from me, Nelani Nyandu. Thank you. It's a bye. Ivala ngedwa manje.